Okay, guys, I was going to start off with me in the shop, but apparently I'm not going to be able to do it. So we're going to start off with Michelle's workbooks. Simply because I don't know if I'll be able to combine the videos and get what I wanted to get done. So a couple of things to get out of the way. Um, Really quick. Just in case my Israeli friend is watching this, it's okay if you're following my progress. I want you to feel like you can. I don't want you feeling pressured or anything. I told you that I would learn. I'm doing it for the sake of your friendship and how nice you were to me and everything. And I chose to do it. I don't want you feeling pressured. My whole intent of doing this is for self learning and your friendship and everything. And I do not want to put you in an uncomfortable position or you feeling pressured either. You showed kindness and sincerity with me being disabled and treating me with the utmost respect. So I don't want you to feel pressured. It's because of that kindness, sincerity, and you being very sweet that I've undertaken these lessons for a while. The tools that you're seeing in front of me are the most recent workbooks I bought. Um, so we're going to start off with a couple of things. Michelle, I'm going to handle a brief introduction in Hebrew, but I have to translate it in English. And you're probably going to need to know one of my friends watching this is deaf. She can't hear, so I have to enable the captions for her. So captions will also be enabled, but it won't do the Hebrew text. I have to do it in English because she's not going to be able to translate, and because she cannot see my face as much as I wanted to do the facial shot, I have not figured out how to be able to rotate and go between one lens from the other because I'm having to do this by phone. So you're probably just going to wind up hearing my voice. But in this case, we'll go ahead and get started. Shalom, Michelle. It's me, Wesley. Masimha. What I said is, hello, Michelle. My name is Wesley. She's spoken to me before, but this will be the first time that she's heard my voice on camera. So, what I decided to do was I was on Amazon looking for additional Hebrew tools. And what I mean by that is I was looking for workbooks to practice more handwriting because I did get a tracing book. I had two programs that I have been using or have tried, one of which is HebrewPod 101. They do have an alphabet course. The only drawback with that is you're watching them write. And the tracing books help because you're able to trace the shape and things like that, but they're in the kids section. But at the same time, as I've been progressing over this past well over a year, I'm not keeping exact dates, but in doing this, I knew that I was going to eventually need more worksheets and more chance to write it down. Now, the Rosetta Stone software does have a writing course in it. However, it is typing, and that is a lot different than doing handwriting. If my Israeli friend is watching, that's part of the reason I want to be able to write. Is in case we get a chance to chat or I ever get the chance to visit you or vice versa. If one of us needs help with a word, I want to be able to help you with your English if we get to chatting again, or vice versa. If I need help with my Hebrew, I want to be able to try to convey the same word written down in English, but be able to follow it up in Hebrew so that I can try to convey the same understanding of it. Um, Likewise, there are going to be words or slang terms that I don't know that I would want to know. Now, what I thought I'd do in this case is Michelle's workbook is a great reinforcement tool, especially for those starting out. Now, I did learn my alphabet before starting the Rosetta Stone, partially due to HebrewPod and one other program that I bought, which specifically did have an alphabet part in it with the Nakud and everything else. But due to eye problems, I still have some issues with the Nakud. My Israeli friend's probably chuckling, but it does go easier with the modern Hebrew. If you've been following my progress, I guess my surprise is out of the bag. My, pardon the expression. I was trying to learn classical Hebrew as well in case you asked me to go to temple or other things if you felt up to it, or maybe if I asked you to go to synagogue, I would be able to fit in. I did find a large print Siddur book, I believe is the correct pronunciation, which is your prayer book. It's £4. But I did find one. It took several weeks. I tried to find a complete one because I thought if I got to spend time with you and stuff, I'm probably going to ask a lot of questions, but it's to genuinely learn. But I'll go in more into that as I do this video. This is probably going to be longer than what I normally do, guys, because I'm already at the 5-minute mark. But just so we're clear, if you're going to learn to read, write, and recite, I strongly recommend Michelle's book. Now, you're going to see me open this thing a few times. It's probably going to not be different pages. But as you can see, I'm legally blind, and I can already tell you this has decent-sized type in it. Very decent-sized type. Because for someone like me that has very low vision and only one peripheral vision in one eye, excuse the library book over here. Library for the Blind. I'm not going to go into that here. Michelle's workbook is a great reinforcement tool, partially because of the worksheets. She also has a companion website with this. The other thing I've been using is the Living Languages course. But Michelle's book is extremely important starting out. Excuse me. I'm going to clear my throat. Because, starting out, you want exposure to the alphabet first before you get into the words. You need to be able to start small and work your way up. And I know you guys are laughing because I told you about a tracing book, but think about how you learn English. You don't immediately start out with complex sentences. You have to slowly work your way up, and eventually you need exposure to the alphabet. And the Rosetta Stone has that, but I felt like they didn't do it enough, and you need earlier exposure to that, especially if you've already learned a language on top of it, because the grammar rules are not going to be the same. If you noticed, I opened the book from this side, not the other side, partially because, as I've said before, you're going to go right to left. Very similar to Arabic and other related languages, but you need to know that. For those of you that are into just reading, I would strongly recommend Michelle's Read Hebrew workbook. Michelle, I got all 3 for the video. I know you told me to send one back, but the other reason I wanted to do this is, even though your stuff is in the right course as well, for those of us that want reading enforcement in situations where I want to be able to just practice the reading exercise, that's why I kept the workbook. Now, I did get this one for conversation because, in my case, if I do get a chance to chat with my Israeli friend, I want to be able to ask her different things. The other reason I did this is you get a lot of exposure to things that the other courses have. They bring it up, but it's very sparse, like food, culture, arts. Like, she and I like movies. We're probably not going to like the same films, but there's a lot of stuff we probably do like. And she likes to read, and I love to read. Now, a lot of my books would probably be audio or large print, but the same principle applies. And I would probably read a lot of mine in English. But as I improve, maybe she could go to the bookstore with me and help me pick out different titles where I've read that book, but I want exposure to it in a different language because I like Shakespeare. Maybe if I'm nice, she'll let me do the balcony sing. We never got to have a dramatic reading in high school, and one of the things on my bucket list is to be able to read Romeo and Juliet. It's one of my favorite plays, guys. Don't laugh. I do have a soft spot, okay? But I love Michelle's cultural notes in here because you get a lot of things without necessarily bringing up politics. Because a lot of people like me, there's a time and a place to discuss politics, but I really want to get to know somebody before I do it. And especially being disabled and given the opportunity that I had to meet someone like the Israeli friend I'm talking about, that's really special, and she's really sweet, and I don't want to be one of those people that pressures her or puts her on the spot. So, as far as a reinforcement tool, these are great. As a starter tool, these are great. Michelle, I cannot thank you enough for this thing being in large print already. For someone who is visually impaired, you did a terrific job with this. The one thing I will tell you is when you and I get a chance to chat again, I will definitely show you a way to do the app feature that you're talking about in your book on the Chrome-based browser on the desktop for both the new Edge, which is Chromium-based, and the new Google Chrome without necessarily having to use your phone to film those QR tags. For those that don't want to do a QR reader. For those of you that already have it, it's fine. But for the older crowd, sometimes it's easier to see it on your browser and know how to do that. So if I get a chance, when I get a chance to talk to you again by phone or by text, Michelle, I will help you and walk you through that. Once I have a chance, and I'll walk you through that over the phone when we can have a brief phone conversation and you're not busy. I'll take a few minutes and show you how to set that up. Just so you know, Michelle, I will have captions on this, but I did have to do them in English because one of the friends watching this video is deaf and can't hear, and because she can't see my face, and I had to shoot this through the other camera, and I don't know how to to go back and forth really easy. Trying to do this by video. I could have done 2 separate ones, but I felt like it would be overcomplicated and wouldn't come out right. She's going to have captions so that she can follow me because she's not going to be able to hear me speak or see my lips move. So I will set up the captions for her because by the time you get this, it's probably going to be Friday before I can notify you because today's Thursday. It's really late. I ran late trying to do this. But I can strongly recommend all 3 of Michelle's workbooks, along with the Living Languages course. Michelle, when you and I get a chance, I'll put the links in the description because when this goes on YouTube, I'll do that. Just in case my Israeli friends watching, I didn't mention your name to protect your privacy because I have to set these videos to public. With Michelle, I only used her first name because I did ask to protect Michelle's privacy. But I will put some of the things. But I will leave a link to Michelle's website on the other website, which happens to be the one I talked to, the Israeli on there. Michelle also does classes, but I can strongly recommend her workbooks. For those of you that are into reading and just you want to be able to see script and to be able to read it, I would recommend the Read Hebrew workbook. For conversation reinforcement, I strongly recommend Shalom Israel. Excuse me, I may have mispronounced that. Israel. You're supposed to emphasize the last syllable, so I may have inadvertently mispronounced that, and I do apologize. I still had to practice a lot of words, and sometimes because I talk rapidly in English and I'm not used to doing it in Hebrew, I occasionally mess up or get tongue twisted because of the camera. But it does happen. Even the best of us slip up. As I've said, if you're going to read, write, and recite, I recommend Michelle's workbook. So you definitely want to be able to do that. These are available on Amazon. They make a great set and reinforcement tool, along with the Living Languages course and some of the other tools I use. I will put all those links on the website that I'm referring to for Courtney and several others following our progress. For Michelle, I'll put all the links in the description for the tools, some of the tools I'm using that do teach the alphabet in order. As I've said, your workbooks are great in that they offer the writing part, not just typing like the Rosetta Stone or the other course that I had that is also software-based, because you want to be able to actually have paper in front of you and actual printouts and worksheets. And HebrewPod 101 does offer that, but your workbooks are a better starter tool, I feel like, so that when you're already in there and you're on HebrewPod and you're already in there even doing the early lessons, you grasp things much quicker and faster and easier. Not to mention Michelle's website is a great supplemental tool to go with these workbooks. So I strongly encourage you guys, if you guys that are interested in following me and following suit and want to do this, I strongly recommend Michelle's workbooks. I haven't done any of the work in them yet, but I can already tell by looking at them with my progress, because I've had over a year using these tools. These are great tools, and I'm going to be able to use them. And Michelle, you and I will touch base, and I will be asking for additional advice, along with another teacher I've had, but we'll talk more as time goes by. And hopefully, if you're open to it, Michelle, we can try a few conversations in Hebrew, and I can continue to progress and not seem so nervous. But I don't like being on camera, so if my Israeli friends watching, it's not you making me nervous. It is the camera. I promise. I did this video partially for the tools, and like I said, to learn Hebrew for that friendship and that sincerity you've shown me, because you're a really sweet person and really nice. So I don't want you feeling pressured or anything. But Lehitraot, guys, and Laila Tov.